Before you click off of this video, just hear me out. How many times have you watched a reviewer or a marketer or someone tell you that the Rode is the best mic or the DJI is the best mic or the Saramonic? They all do it, right? They all get paid. Now, all of these microphones that I'm about to show you in this 4-minute blip are key, are actually marquee to what I'm about to tell you. I've compared all of these, every single one of them under extreme conditions of wind control, which is the hardest thing that we all try to avoid. You get the little muffle tufts, the dead cats, dead furs, whatever you call them, and you try to alleviate as much as noise while picking up as much as your voice as possible. Now, I don't have a super high-pitched voice. I got more of a deeper voice, and my voice sounds a lot like wind, so it's very difficult to detect what is different versus me riding, because I usually keep it on my chest, and I get all that wind, and I'm going 40 miles per hour, 50 miles per hour, and I have to try to get that sound of my voice and not so much of the wind or the e-bike or the tires on the road. The reason why I chose these is because they all have onboard recording and you do not need the actual receiver. So I put it on, I hit record, and then I go. So, and each one of the transmitters, because there's 2 in a set, have different settings, and you're going to see that on each one of these videos. What I wanted to do was I wanted to make a video comparing all these microphones on standalone, because I've been using a lot of this and messing with the settings. So I said, grab the DJI Mic 2, the Rode Wireless Pro, DJI Mic 1, and the Saramonic. Now, I love this one, but the idea was not to use any of the other mics that I've done reviews on because, well, they can't really record internally by themselves without the actual receiver. These can. So we're going to test out literally different settings on every single one of these. So in theory, we'll be doing a different wind noise test on all of these. And each one of these have a different setting. Some have noise canceling on, and then as we go through it, we'll be sure to go over it. You'll see all these different mics. Every microphone, with the exception of the center guy, does have different settings. So let's just take it out and go fast and then see which one breaks up. And I'll try to get loud and quiet. And we're gonna see which one is the best setting out of all of them, because they each individually have settings that I will remember when we do the final recap as to which ones. Actually, we're probably not gonna do a recap. You'll just be able to hear the difference between all of them. I might do a recap, we'll see. You ready? Let's go get it. I look like an idiot. So this is my normal levels. Obviously, we're not going fast at all. I never have an issue here, never. So once I really start getting fast, once you hear that wind and that motor, and there's a manhole right there, and if you look, there's a manhole that is somewhere, and it's extremely loud. And there's a manhole right there, and if you look, there's a manhole that is somewhere, and it's extremely loud. And there's a manhole right there, and if you look, there's a manhole that is somewhere, and it's extremely loud. And there's a manhole right there, and if you look, there's a manhole that is somewhere, and it's extremely loud. And there's a manhole right there, and if you look, there's a manhole that is somewhere, and it's extremely loud. And there's a manhole right there, and if you look, there's a manhole that is somewhere, and it's extremely loud. And there's a manhole right there, and if you look, there's a manhole that is somewhere, and it's extremely loud. And there's a manhole right there, and if you look, there's a manhole that is somewhere, and it's extremely loud. But that's okay, because the loud is better. And if I get lower, would it still pick up this as I'm going? But that's okay, because the loud is better. And if I get lower, would it still pick up this as I'm going? But that's okay, because the loud is better. And if I get lower, would it still pick up this as I'm going? But that's okay, because the loud is better. And if I get lower, would it still pick up this as I'm going? But that's okay, because the loud is better. And if I get lower, would it still pick up this as I'm going? But that's okay, because the loud is better. And if I get lower, would it still pick up this as I'm going? But that's okay, because the loud is better. And if I get lower, would it still pick up this as I'm going? But that's okay, because the loud is better. And if I get lower, would it still pick up this as I'm going? And that should be good. I mean, that's a solid test of speed and wind. Lots of it. Okay, that gives you everything you need. I understand that a lot of that, I look ridiculous. A lot of that was loud wind motor. This is the perfect bike to test it on. So you got to hear each one of those. The one that I pick out of all of these is by far the DJI Mic original one. I think the DJI Mic 2 was the absolute worst. With the noise reduction on, with it off, plus 4 it just sounded the worst muffled, and all of them were placed in the exact same area. So I had 2 here, right? And then I had 2 here, and all of the microphones were literally in a little circle. You should probably see that in the still. So it wasn't a matter of which one. And I think the reason why the Saramonic sounded the best is because that camera was blocking a lot of that wind that was hitting that actual camera. All in all, man, if I want to pick the Saramonic as the best one, it's hard to judge because of that. Yeah, I could go out and do another test, but I'm going to tell you right out of the gate, don't buy the Rode as much as it has 32-bit float. Don't buy, and I get loud. Like I'll be talking, then I get loud like this. So my levels peak like crazy. I don't know how to control my own voice. But when you look at all of those, bare tax, the DJI mic is by far the best mic. It is durable. I have 2 sets of them. They're fantastic. I would pick the Saramonic just because I like the logo. It is glass, or it's a type of glass. If you drop that, it's going to get scratched up. It has a glare on it. I don't know if I would pick that one to go out and go ride, but I figured, what is the most extreme conditions? Like if I was in a hurricane, how would I get the best audio? By far, it is DJI mic. No, this was not paid for. I don't give a shit about what those other companies think. I'm telling you, and you heard the audio. That is unedited audio, by the way. Both the Rode Wireless Pro and the DJI Mic 2 both had 32-bit float. I didn't notice a damn difference. Sorry. I get it, peaking. You're going to have all these people say, oh, it's got 32-bit float. Yeah, 32-bit jerk off. Like, that's what that is. After listening to all of these, I had to close my eyes. I'd have Bree play these different tracks. And by far, the best is DJI. The original mic, not the 2. The 2, I think, sounds the worst out of all of them. Saramonic is a good second. Rode Wireless Pro is a third. But bar none, the only issue I have with the original DJI is I get these weird pops, and I did do a video on it and I can't seem to get rid of them, but I'm willing to take that chance just because with the noise reduction that is not even on there, just with the muffle tough, and it works well, bar none, I would recommend it. And if you do pick it up, there's a link in the description down below. If you get the other ones, again, they're not bad. Don't get the DJI Mic 2. I'm just telling you, it's the worst one. With noise reduction, without it, it is. I don't even know why people use that one. I don't know why people use Rode Wireless Pro, but I can see using that over DJI Mic 2. I think the DJI Mic 2 is, it's nice that it has 32-bit float that I don't even know how to use, because when I'm yelling out there with the wind, I don't notice a damn difference. Stay beautiful.